minute. Hello, this is Dr. Jason Munsell. It is about 12:20 Thursday, March 24th, the day before Good Friday and Easter weekend. And I told you that I would give you a little lecture here on Chapter 8. Hey Finn, what's up? Finn's got a haircut. You see him? Hey, there's a little monkey. They call it a lion cut. So you can better give him his insulin. But in any case, yeah, I screwed that up, didn't I? This is going to be super brief, right, Finn? Because it will be. And remember that we've covered Chapter 7, all the various lessons on effective crisis leadership. And y'all did a great job with the adult coloring books on Tuesday night. And then if you're in my day class and watching this on because it's fun, y'all did a great job on Monday. But in any case, these are all the various case studies that we are to apply the lessons from Chapter 7 to. And the next little slide here, I think you can actually maybe see this, but I'll put this on KC as well. And as ever, as you recall, the authors sort of tell us how to make the call before we actually make the call. They are giving us some hints here and there, obviously. But again, you are to pick one of these case studies for your third paper. And I put on this preface here I will put on KC a little bit more information, but remember it's sort of the third verse, same as the first, except we're applying stuff from Chapter 7 to Chapter 8. I do think the best papers have been papers that have shown or indicated, illustrated outside research. And the case studies are not terribly timely because it takes a while for books to go into production and being published and everything like that. And so I would highly, highly encourage you to do some outside research on whatever case study it is that you pick. In fact, I think some of the best papers have at least a couple of outside sources in addition to the book. Next, I think some of the best papers have shown or illustrated, particularly if you pick a case study where folks did not do very well, which sometimes I think are the most interesting case studies to do, to sort of identify what folks should have done if they were better communicators. So I really liked some of the papers where they say, okay, they didn't do this very well. This is what they should have done. I think those make for compelling reads. And also, I think the best papers, particularly at the end, as the assignments have illustrated, have really, in a very explicit way, discussed issues of ethics and renewal, showcase how the communication indicated these ethical virtues, things like responsibility and accountability, things like caring for human beings, things like being open and accessible, and then of course the idea of renewal, changing the crisis or the danger into opportunity. And some of that stuff is already embedded in this particular chapter, but nonetheless, don't forget to do that toward the end. And of course, the best papers have all been very well written with excellent topic sentences, using those lessons as topic sentences and very explicitly citing the textbook, using MLA correctly, using first person, active voice, excellent flow, of the organizational flow, etc., etc., etc. So just a few things that's been on my mind about the papers. Peanuts. So the first case study that we have here in Chapter 8 is about PCA, or the Peanut Corporation of America. And the authors don't like these guys because they didn't do very good. The very first part of this section, or this example, is a lot of contextual information talking about what happened, salmonella. By the way, there's this little restaurant, I think it still exists, I don't know, but in the little hometown, my little Oklahoma hometown. It's a chicken place called Sam and Ella's. I like the name. I'm very punny. But in any case, it tells you what salmonella is, and it could be fatal. And so, yeah, investigations conducted later revealed that the retesting of eventual shipment and product initially identified as contaminated was done repeatedly, blah, blah, blah. So they found salmonella, but then a second set didn't find it, so they said, oh, yeah, everything's fine. And PCA is a major producer of peanut meal, peanut butter, peanut paste used for a wide variety of products, candy, cereals, cookies, crackers, donuts, dressings, peanut butter dressing, well, yeah, seasonings, blah, pet foods, all sorts of different things. So there was an outbreak of salmonella. In December of 2008, we see the first death. And then at this point, they say the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, was investigating the Peanut Corporation of America, and in January of 2009, that's when PCA recalled all products shipped from the plant. So one of the things, the next thing it talks about how, because of the nature of the product, it was very, very pervasive. They say over 1,500 assorted peanut products had to be removed from store shelters. 500 people across 43 states had contracted salmonella, so however you say that. 8 people died. So this was serious. 714 confirmed cases in 46 states as of 2010. So the communication challenges were intensified in part because of how pervasive this was. Their crisis response, they didn't say much. They hid. Remember, you're supposed to be visible and out there. You're not supposed to circle the wagons. They remained largely silent through the crisis, offering no instructing information, apology, remorse, or even an explanation. They and this put the customers in a really difficult spot. It talks about 2 problems as the recall expanded, in part because of PCA's silence. First, the ingredient was used in so many products that consumers had a difficult time comprehending the full extent of the recall. And second, many consumers incorrectly assumed that peanut butter sold under such names as Jif or Peter Pan, that's my happy thought, was contaminated. And so it's basically, it was the FDA, not the PCA, the FDA that launched a website that listed the contaminated products and everything like that. And the CDC was issuing reports. So basically, the PCA, again, the Peanut Corporation of America, they were silent. And that's, and the owner and plant manager refused to testify in congressional hearings. They pleaded the Fifth Amendment and all this type of stuff. And they do say that industrial leaders in peanut butter like Jif and Peter Pan actually did pretty well, even though PCA didn't offer any information. And we get this new idea here of third-party sources of critical information during a crisis, proxy communicators. So it was the CDC and the FDA, and even we could say Jif and Peter Pan that were doing all the communicating to folks, to customers, and all the other stakeholders, because PCA weren't saying anything. And there are problems with that, they say. And I'll let you read that. But basically, and they say the PCA folks, owners, and the owner and the plant manager are all pleaded not guilty, and their trials are still underway. But I don't know what happened. Remember, that's whenever this particular book was published or went into publication, which is fairly recent, just 2015. But you might want to take a look at what happened. That would be a really good extra research to do. Are these folks in the pokey? Are they eating peanut butter? So yeah, so that's it's interesting. So basically, the summary here is these guys did poorly. So when you're writing your third paper, if you pick this as a case study, you have lots of opportunities to say what the PCA should have done, because they particularly, we got all these various 10 lessons of effective crisis leadership, and PCA didn't do much of anything right, it looks like. The second case study, oh, by the way, nuts. Just picture nuts, because damn, they did poorly. The second case study, fire, Milt is on fire as a leader. Fire at Cole Hardwood. I have hardwood floors, they're nasty. We need to get them redone, but in any case. So, Cole Hardwood in Indiana, there was a big fire. Big fire, largest in Indiana history. Burned for 6 days, 110 people out of work. Destroyed 140,000 square feet of inventory, equipment, and warehouse capacity. Milt Cole was the CEO and owner, so on. And so they really, really like this guy. They love Milt. And so they talk about planning and prep. He loved his workers. He loved his community. He was out in his community. It was all about family, interpersonal trust. His core business values it talks about were I have a profit sharing plan, or I believe in taking care of people. I have a profit sharing plan. Employees have never missed a year. They made the company. I can't do it myself. There is no I in team. There is no me and we. Humans over profit. Though the theme in this book, if you put humans over profit, then you actually become profitable. It's amazing how that works. So he was very well established beforehand. And then after the fire, he was again all about his people. He must have had really good insurance, because he kept the people on. They rebuilt everything. He looked at the crisis as an opportunity. So we also have here, he is a model of renewal, or the Cole Hardware story or case study is a model of renewal. So the summary here, they say very specifically, Milt Cole displayed outstanding leadership following the 1998 fire at his lumber mill. And they talk about how he made himself available and all of the various great things that he did. They adore Milt. And I'm not sure how things are going right now. Again, you should do a little bit of extra research, but I do have here on the PowerPoint a link to their homepage, and I just glanced at it, but there's some really good material in there that I think is going to help you with your third paper. The next case study, ice cream. You scream. We all scream for ice cream. Yeah, I haven't had ice cream in forever. One thing that I found really interesting when I moved to the South. Oklahoma is sort of the South, but not really the South. But the ice cream trucks, they have the Dixie song. That's weird to me. It's like it's just funky. I don't want that ice cream. But they like Schwann's too. Here's a Schwann truck. They've kept on trucking even after all the largest foodborne illness outbreak in history. Eastbound down, loaded up and trucking. We're gonna do what they say can't be done. Can you tell? Did you know that I'm like a big fan of Smokey and the Bandit? Of course I am. But in any case, it's one of the I think one of the greatest examples of America's cinema. Oh, Burt Reynolds was my hero. He still is my hero. Not really, being facetious, but it is a good movie. Not as good as Smoking the Bandit 2 or Cannonball Run. But in any case, let's move through this quickly. So we've got all this stuff going on about Schwann, the ice cream processing plants and multiple bacteria because the truck sat idle and the washing it out didn't get it all, and so lots of diarrhea. Basically, that's what they said. So the egg-associated salmonella is a serious health problem fever, abdominal cramps, and diarrhea beginning 12 to